and he never accepts to be low, and he never accepts the minimum, he always wants the maximum, as was said, إذا ما كنت في أمر مروم فلا تقنع بما دون النجوم. فطعم الموت في أمر حقير كطعم الموت في أمر عظيم. He said, if you are going through some kind of test, if you are going through some kind of experience that you want to achieve something, then never accept anything below the stars. Always hit for the highs. And then he said, فطعم الموت في أمر حقير كطعم الموت في أمر عظيم. Then he says, the taste of death, when you die for something of no worth, is the same taste of death when you die for something that is great. What is the main thing that people might be afraid of, and they don't want to experience, and they don't want to strive for the best? You might be afraid to die. So if you're gonna strive, if you're gonna go for it, so go for the best. If you die because what? You're seeking the best. But if you're gonna go for the low, and for the minimum, and for the thing of no worth, and there is no effect, and there is no influence, then if you die for something miserable. Your death even has no value. But both death are the same. You're dead. So always hit and aim for the best, and aim for the highest. And this is the man who has himma ali. And that is why such person, nothing is impossible in front of him. Nothing impossible. What's impossible for most of people, it's not impossible for him. He will try, and he will go for it, even if he dies before it, or before he gets it, but he always trying to get it. Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu anh, fight, maybe 99 fights in his life to get shahada. Never got it. Alright? And some people, even before the fight starts, he gets an arrow and he's dead. Shaheed, inshallah. Like Haritha ibn Suraqa. In Badr, Haritha ibn Suraqa, one of the Sahaba, and you know the wells of Badr and the Sahaba preparing, he goes to get some water from the wells. And you know how the Muslims got to the wells and to stop the kuffar from drinking water? One of the Muslims think he's one of the kuffar. He goes with an arrow and he kills him. Before even starting. He was killed by a Muslim. So when the war is fight, the battle is over, and they go back to Medina, and they come to the Prophet, the woman, the mother of Haritha, and I think he was her only son, looking for Haritha. Where is Haritha? So she asked everyone. They say, we don't know. Until one man told her he's killed. He's killed. So she said, Shaheed, Allahu Akbar. He said, I don't think so. Because he was killed by another Muslim. I don't think so. So she started looking for the one who gives her the solid answer. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah. Where is Harry? Where is Harry? الشهيد في الجنة فأصبر واحتسب أم غير ذلك فإن كان غير ذلك فليرين الله مني ما لم ترى عينك. She said, Ya Rasulullah, where is my son? Shaheed in Jannah, then I will be patient. If it's other than that, then I will do things that no one ever sees. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من ابنك؟ قالت حارث. قال ما قلت؟ What did you say? She said, whatever you heard. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أهبلت أهي جنة بل هي جنان وإن حارث قد بلغ الفردوس الأعلى. He said, are you crazy? You asking if Haritha in Jannah? You think it's one Jannah? It's Jinan, it's heavens. And Haritha is in the Firdaus al-A'la, in the highest level. Those are the people of Badr. So, you strive. and you make the best of your effort, and you have your intention. That's why it's very important to have the intention. So maybe with your intention you reach their levels, even though you did not do their work, and you didn't act like them. So it's very important that we have this attitude. That is why we emphasize that we need to have the highest goals, and we have to have the highest targets, and the best of the intentions, the best, the top. You want to be with the Prophet ﷺ? The Prophet ﷺ was on the top in everything. In everything. So don't be lazy and say, I want to be with the Prophet ﷺ. Don't disobey and say, I want to be with the Prophet ﷺ. Don't avoid the Sunnah and say, I want to be with the Prophet ﷺ. Don't neglect the wajibat and the fara'id and say, I want to be with the Prophet ﷺ. This is not the way you should think. You can never do what the Prophet ﷺ did. But maybe because of your intention you can be with him. And we are told there are people who will be with him. And there are people who will drink from him. So why don't you make this your goal? Make it your goal. Make it your main purpose in life. So a person who has very high goals and very high determinations will always aim for the best and for the highest. How many individuals were able to change ummah? Change nations. Individuals change nations. And the Prophet ﷺ made this clear. يبعث الله على رأس كل 100 سنة من يجدد لهذه الأمة أمر دينها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends every 100 years a person to this ummah who will renew the deen for him. Refresh the deen and renew the deen. So why don't you strive to be one of those? One person, you see, one person for the whole ummah. Yes, there are different opinions. Some of the ulama said one person in every field. But there is opinion that it's one person, period. One person, period. So why don't you strive to be like that? And why don't you want to be one of them? Maybe you will never get it, but at least hope for it and work for it. So I finish with this, which is something I mentioned already, and that is have dreams and have imagination and strive and plan and have goals, but all these things with one condition: to know your capacity, to know your ability, to understand what you can do and what you can do. That is important, because once you understand that and you respect this, perhaps you will be able to achieve your goals. But if you have a goal that is impossible for you to achieve, just common sense says you cannot achieve. Yes, you should strive if it's a good purpose, but at the same time you should know your capacity and your capabilities. Very important. But those who have dreams and amani and ahlam and wishes, and they never do anything for them, and they never have the means for them, and they never have the capacities, and they never had the training for them, those people are vilified. And those people are looked down at. And those people just live in illusions, and they will never be anything. Like the man, Ibn Qatada, rahimahullah, said, في عيون الأخبار, he said a man sat one day and he had a jar of honey right on top of him on a shelf, and he started having these wishes and these dreams. So he started thinking, if I sell this jar for 10 dirham, then I can buy 5 goats. If I make these goats reproduce twice a year, in 2 years I'll have 200. For each 5, I can get a cow. All this, right? His cane with his hand, and he's thinking, I can get cows. Then I'll get seeds, and I'll farm, and I'll plant, and I will harvest and collect, and this and that. Then I will have so much money. I will buy houses and homes and buildings, and I'll buy slaves, and I'll get married, and I have imam, and I will have kids. Then I will bring my kids